Hi there, I'm Carl Shoemaker, business coach with Action Coach, and I'm joined by Dr. Alan Pine, New Jersey Wellness, located in Englewood. So, Dr. Alan Pine, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business?
Hi, I'm Dr. Pine. I've been practicing in Englewood, New Jersey as a chiropractor since 1972. So it's over 48 years that I've been in practice. I have taken into the practice. We started out years ago, back in the 70s and the 80s as Englewood Chiropractic Center. I was the chiropractor in the town, known by a lot of the people. I got involved with the Rotary Club in Englewood and some of the other service organizations, the Chamber of Commerce. So I was very well known back in the 70s, the 80s, and then into the 90s, things started to change a little bit where we wanted to expand the practice. So we went from Englewood Chiropractic Center, which we still have, but we expanded it to New Jersey Wellness. New Jersey Wellness at that time, we started in with a little bit of physical therapy, more modalities, and nutrition. And then recently we've added acupuncture over the last 10 or 15 years. And we've had a lot of success with that. A lot of things have changed in the healthcare. I mean, I go back to the days in the 60s, into the 70s and the 80s and even the 90s, where a lot of the care plans, a lot of your insurance companies had very small deductibles and they just paid for everything. And then managed care came in, in the 2000s, 2010, and really hammered everybody with healthcare. And although it's more available to a lot of people, there are higher deductibles, and the costs have gone up, both for employers and for the employees. So what have we done? So my adage, since I've been in practice, is to have a mantra sort of to say that I'd rather pay money to stay healthy than pay money to get healthy. So part of the New Jersey Wellness mission is to help patients and the population in our area, even if it's one person at a time,
Right.
get and stay a little healthier on a day-by-day basis. How is that accomplished? Well, number one, the biggest problems that we have today is overweight. There's a lot of people that have that extra 5, 10, 20, 50 pounds. That becomes a risk. It becomes a health risk. From the overweight and their eating habits, that leads to heart disease, which is another major problem in the United States today. And then the next thing is the diabetes, which is what they call the silent killer. And then you can go on from that. And when that becomes significant in an area or in an individual even, then they're more prone to cancers and other diseases. So how do you do it? People now would say, give me a pill. And I think, I do consultations with patients and I say, well, are you healthy now? They go, oh yeah, I'm perfectly healthy. All my blood chemistries are good. I mean, my heart, my blood pressure is good. My glucose level is good. My cholesterol level is good. And I said, okay, are you taking any medications? They go, yes, I'm taking medications for my blood pressure to keep it down low. I'm taking medication for my cholesterol to keep it down low. So now I can eat whatever I want and I can eat as much as I want. So it doesn't get rid of the overweight. It doesn't get rid of the high cholesterol. And then they go to the sugars, the glucose. Oh yeah, well, my doctor told me take one of these a day. So that keeps my blood sugar level. I said, what if you didn't take any medication? Think about it. You took none of your medications, then how would you feel? Oh, I'd be sick as can be. I'd have high blood pressure. I would have high blood sugar. I'd have, diabetes. I'd have this, I'd have that. I said, well, then just because you're taking the medication doesn't mean you're healthy. And then they're interested and they go, well, how do I avoid taking all of those? And trust me, I'm not telling anybody to stop taking any medication. But if you start out, it took you years to get that way. Nobody wakes up one morning, goes to a fast food restaurant, and we all know what we're talking about,
Yeah.
has one of their, one of their lunches, and then comes back and have, high glucose, or have high cholesterol. I mean, it happens over a period of time. Or they don't get coronary artery disease just by eating a fatty steak. It takes years of neglect to bring that on. So if someone is willing to spend a few months or to a few years of changing the lifestyle, then perhaps they can get healthier and not rely on all the medications. But a lot of people in our type of society don't want to do it.
They're looking for a shortcut, right? They're looking for the shortcut.
Right. They can't make it past a week, 2 days. They get all excited, and they just can't make it past a few days, if not a few weeks. Why? As you know, Carl, in business, to be successful, you have to have good habits.
Right. And
habits take weeks, at least 21 days, 3 weeks, to months to develop.
And discipline.
And people with good habits, right, through their discipline, develop good working plans to develop their business. The same thing is true with their health. Right. You need good habits, you need discipline. And if you do that, you have a chance. So when you think back and how does this fall into all the other things that we're doing, we, the number one country in the world, is not the healthiest country. We go way down on the list. For longevity, we're not number one. Yet we spend the most in drugs, medication, medicine. We're number one in the world on that. So why aren't we the healthiest? Because of our lifestyle. And over the last 2 to 3 years, our longevity has been, well, over the last 100 years, it's slowly been increasing and increasing. Yet, over the last 2 years, 2 to 3 years, it's decreased. Sure, only by a couple of months, but it's not increasing. Right. So now, we get this coronavirus, COVID-19, and when you look into the history, we've had SARS, South Asian Respiratory Syndrome, MERS, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, starting to strike a bell. We've had even HIV, we've had the bird flu, and we've had all the other things that we have been around, that's been around, even some of the strains of the COVID virus, the coronavirus. If you look at a can of Lysol, you'll see in there, even if it was, you bought it last year, before we even heard about COVID and coronavirus here in the States, you would hear things like, does HIV, helps do this, and coronavirus. So we were aware of this, but it never happened here. So we never really concerned ourselves about it. So why is it happening so pandemically, or why do we have this pandemic now? For a couple of reasons. Let's take out all the political stuff and let's just talk a little bit about, some of the numbers that maybe over 70% have to do with the elderly. They talked about all the numbers coming from a lot of the nursing homes. In order to get into the nursing homes, you're not 15 or 18 or 25 years old. The nursing and the assisted living homes took care of a lot of the elderly patients. And what did they feed them? You didn't get these green garden vegetables and homegrown free-range chickens. They fed them nursing home food or hospital food, was just to sustain them, which didn't make them any healthier. And then they were put in this close environment, and we didn't know how to handle this high level, high intensity, critical care, because we haven't been exposed to it before.
Right.
So yes, it's totally new. Even though I've been in practice for the 48 years, this is the first time that I can remember that we've seen this pandemic or this coronavirus just precipitate and, through the society. And we are into a new normal. It's a very deadly virus compared to some of the flus and the strains of flus that we've had. So that's where we are now, talking about our health levels.
Right. So I mean, the themes that I'm picking up and talking to you is obviously you get one body. I've heard you say it this way. You better take care of it. And you'd much rather be focused on helping people stay healthy than have to get healthy because of a problem. And that the other thing is, okay, don't let something like the current situation with the pandemic force you away from getting care that you needed. So just in a couple of minutes can you just address the fact you're 100% ready if people are interested in talking to you, if they've got pain, if they've got a challenge, they need to get it addressed now. They've got to call you up, right? You're ready to go. You're prepared with all the equipment and
well, we're still, I would say that, and I review this with a lot of patients that do come in, and we go through and we give them some charts, and in the way chiropractic works, number one, we deal with, symptoms.
Right.
So patients that come in, the reason that a lot of people come in, like I tell you, you could have all these other problems and you've been under medical care. It's when they develop a symptom. And I'll even ask them, well, if you developed a symptom like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, why didn't you come in then? They said, well, I thought it would get better.
Right.
And I thought it would go away, but it's getting worse to the point where I can't sleep. I can't drive. I can't work. I can't stay on the phone. And now what's happening in the pandemic is people are working from home and they're not set up.
And they're
sitting. They're working on computers, on their laptop, sitting on a couch, maybe bending over on the coffee table. So whatever their previous problems or predispositions for neck pain and back pain are just, that's the straw that's breaking the camel's back.
Right.
So yes, we address whatever their current symptoms are now, but we're also addressing the other things, such as their symptoms and if they want to get out of pain and then stay healthy.
So the underlying causes, you really want to get at the underlying causes of the problem, not just...
Correct.
Okay.
And the underlying causes for chiropractic have to do with subluxations. Subluxations are misalignments of the bones. This is what a segment in the lower part of the back looks like, but it's significant throughout, and that it should be freely movable, and they should bend and move. You should have a nice disc space in between the bones, and that's how the nerves communicate from the brain cells all the way down and out, and even more important, from the outside, all the tissues and organs and systems in the body communicate with the brain through that nervous system. So the nervous system gets compromised. So you have a normal, it starts to get a little flatter, the discs, and a little bit closer, and then you start to see changes and mottling in the bones, which is your arthritis and your degenerative diseases. These are conditions that, if left alone, continually degenerate, where you lose motion in your spine. So one of the ways to tell is if you can turn your neck all the way around to touch your shoulders, if you can bend it, if you can bend down and touch the floor. Everybody has some limitations. We will establish where you are and then try to get you back to the normal ranges of motion, normal nerve supply, and let the body heal itself. Because ultimately, Healing comes from the inside. It's an innate ability of the body to heal. No potion, lotion, salve, cream, injectable, pill from the outside is going to cause healing. It'll alleviate symptoms, yes, but healing ultimately has to come from the inside. And that's what we do, is we open that up, allow your level of healing to go at a higher rate, and the body heals itself by taking away the stress. Now, what we've done, because of the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, the public health agencies in New Jersey, from the state and from the local areas, from Bergen County, and also from even Englewood, where I am, have certain guidelines. So yes, we wear gloves when we take care of patients. I have Purell dispensers throughout the office, and we constantly use the Purell, and more importantly, wash our hands. I also have a mask that we wear when we're in contact or in an area with patients. And then I used to wear a tie and a jacket, and I stopped doing that because now I just put on scrubs, because at the end of the day I come home, take off my scrubs, it goes right into the wash. I spend more on it. I used to spend more on my ties than I spent on my scrubs. So they're constantly in rotation. That we clean them, and we put the white jacket on over that. I wash that, and then we also do the social distancing in the office, where I used to have 3, 4, 5 patients in at a time doing different procedures. With my health, I can only have 1 or 2 in different areas of the office, and that's it. So I'm limited. And people are afraid, and justifiably so, of not hanging around other people. So we get them in individually. I talk to them individually and come up with a treatment plan for them, and then schedule them individually with 1 or 2 other people, maybe in the office, but they're not even in contact or anywhere near them.
Great. So you basically have covered a lot, and I want people to know, first of all, they have any underlying issues in pain, they want to get healthy, or they want to stay healthy, they want to get healthy, they need to contact you. What's the best way for them to contact you? And by the way, I'd like you to tell us what it is, but I'm going to put it on the post so we'll see it. So the best number for people to call the office.
Well, the best number to get in touch with at the office is 201-567-0700.
New Jersey.
That'll get us right to the office.
Right.
If it's a time when I'm not here, we recently put a new phone system in through one of our networking group members. And if you press 1, it goes to the front desk. If you press 2, it goes right to my extension. You can leave a message for me, and that will be emailed to me. So if there's any type of emergency or you need some answers quick, feel free to do that. And if you press, I think, 4 or whatever, it goes to, it just gives you the hours of operation, but they do change because of COVID, and gives you possibly directions or where we're located.
Okay, great. So,
or they can go to my website. The website is www.njwellness for New Jersey, NJWELLNESS.com. And there's a whole host of ways of getting in touch with me, sending a request for an appointment if you want, just seeing who's in the office. And we're more than happy. And if you want to learn a little bit more about chiropractic, there are also articles and blogs that we've done that you can see.
Excellent. So I'll make sure I put both of those pieces of information, your website and the phone number. And people should not be afraid to call NJ Wellness and Dr. Pine and get themselves healthy.
And I'll tell you what,
yeah.
If anybody has any questions, I like to hear it from the horse's mouth. So often I'll get a wife that's been coming for care and say, oh, you've got to take care of my husband. He has the same problem. He's got sciatica. He's got headaches. He's got neck pain. Or he's got lower back pain. I'll never forget this a couple of years ago. And then she finally brought the spouse in with her. And I said, oh, your wife says you have lower back pain. I said, where is it? And he points to here. And I'm like, well, that's the neck. I said, I thought you said lower back. He goes, I can't reach any lower than this. So it's their own interpretation of what they have. A lot of people, they say, oh, I have stomach disorders. And they don't mean their stomach, as I know it, as an organ in the body. They're really pointing to their abdomen or their pelvis where they have other pains. So I like to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
So anybody that has any questions, feel free to call the office. Tell them that you saw me talking and that you want to set up a courtesy consultation where I'll take you in, you'll fill out some forms. I'll get a little better history on you and a little bit more knowledge about what you've been through and who you've seen. And I'm more than happy to spend some time with you going over what your problem is. And then I can tell you or give you an indication whether it pays to go forward with an exam or whether this is not a chiropractic problem, which I do see occasionally. And then I can guide you in the right direction. Being in town all these years, I know most of the groups, you know, orthopedic, neurological, even psychiatry, psychological, neurosurgeons, et cetera, et cetera. So we work together on a lot of cases, and if it's something that I can help, I do. And the other areas, if you're interested in staying healthy and want to get healthier, I could talk to you about nutrition. I could talk to you about what supplements you should be taking. And probably more important, I could tell you what you shouldn't be taking and what you shouldn't be eating, because they're very inflammatory and they lower the body's immune system.
Excellent. Wow, we've covered a lot of ground. I really appreciate it.
Well, I've done it over a lot of time too.
Yeah, but that's great. I think this is a lot of information. Hopefully people will get a chance to watch this. And I can say this, Dr. Alan Pine is every bit as knowledgeable and personable and competent as he comes across in this video right now. So you owe it to yourselves. If you have any issues, you have to contact their office. I'll put the information on this in his site, and take advantage of that consultation, that complimentary consultation, and see if you can't make a difference in your life. So thank you.
And if it's something that I can help, I'm more than happy. Ask them when they come in. We do have certain specials at different times where we'll do the examination and or x-rays for a very minimal price. So money, I feel at this point in my career, shouldn't be an object to see if chiropractic care can help. And over the last couple of years, we have state-of-the-art equipment. Digital x-rays, which we just take right here, and we could see them here with minimal exposure. And the other, as far as adjusting, we use various techniques, flexion distraction for disc techniques, and also we have what they call a pro adjuster, because people sometimes are very squirmish about getting their neck and their back what they call cracked. I mean, we call it a specific adjustment. They don't like to hear that. So we have very expensive equipment that can analyze the spine, adjust the spine with just a gentle tapping, and then we can reanalyze the spine to see if we've made the change. And patients are blown away with that.
Excellent. Great. So thank you very much. And,
my pleasure.
It's a pleasure, and we'll be talking again soon. Thank you, Dr. Pine.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.